Disaster survival games are some of the oldest and most long-standing games on Roblox. They've been featured in events, memes, YouTube videos, the whole 9 yards. But the most interesting thing about them is just how old they really are. Natural disaster survival has been out since 2008 and has remained on the front page of Roblox ever since its release. Several games have come in and tried to take its place at the top, like Survive the Disasters, which was released a year later in 2009. However, nobody could really ever dethrone natural disaster survival. What really made this genre of game work is how fast-paced and ridiculous it is. Natural disaster survival is inherently a funny game, with countless videos made purely to capitalize off of its meme potential. Videos that are just compilations of funny moments found within the game garner millions of views on YouTube to this day, and it's insane to see how there are now multiple generations of Roblox players who have discovered this game for the first time and play it actively. I can confidently say that this is the only game on Roblox where someone who joined in 2008 can be actively playing with someone who made their account last week and you wouldn't be able to tell. Ever since the metaverse, a lot of these older styles of Roblox games have gone out of fashion. The most popular game in the minigame genre only averages about 1/4 of natural disaster survival's player count, and other genres like brick battling died about 15 years ago. The only pre-metaverse genre of game that I can confidently say survived the meta-apocalypse is the murder mystery genre, spearheaded and really only kept alive by one singular game, and even then, there's a lot of bots in there. Allegedly. I can't say for sure, but allegedly, there's a lot of bots in murder mystery too. Post-metaverse Roblox games are a lot more dynamic than pre-metaverse Roblox games. Horror games have taken over the platform in the past 2 years, with games like Doors breaking into the mainstream gaming world, and more developers are making games with really dark themes. FPS games are also more popular than ever, with Arsenal still being decently mainstream and Rivals taking the genre to new heights. But through it all, natural disaster survival has remained a shining beacon of the past while still fitting in this modern post-metaverse era of Roblox. However, I can't help but feel a little bit off when I play NDS. This game came out in 2008. That's 17 years old. This game came out the same year that GTA 4, Gears of War 2, and Call of Duty World at War released. This thing was out when the original Nintendo Wii was the most popular home gaming console, and it got me thinking, why has nobody tried to make a modern version of natural disaster survival? With all of the innovations to the Roblox game engine since 2008, you would think that someone would see the staying power that NDS has and try to replicate it, right? Well, even though it took 17 years, we finally have a game that could dethrone natural disaster survival as the most popular disaster survival game on Roblox. But one thing that definitely needs dethroning is the amount of people watching this video who aren't subscribed to the channel. Somehow, that number actually has gone down since the previous upload, and that's really not good. I want to hit 150,000 subscribers soon, and we're inching ever closer. So if you've been enjoying this video and want to see more like it, click that subscribe button so I can keep making more videos like this one. This is a game called Something Evil Will Happen, a modern take on the disaster survival genre that takes heavy inspiration from old Roblox designs, but modernizes it in a way that's not only fun to play, but much more fitting for a modern Roblox audience. This game is silly. You guys remember the silly scale from the Regretivator video? I know that was a long time ago, but like, it's still relevant. Well, if that game was like a 4 on the silly scale, this game does sort of like a... Yeah. If the original natural disaster survival was considered to be a fast-paced dynamic Roblox game, then Something Evil would put a 2008 player in the hospital for about a week. This game is genuinely insane, complete with some of the most nonsensical, ridiculous, and hilarious disasters the genre has ever seen. But on top of that, they're also incredibly creative. There are orbital strikes that insta-kill you. There's one where a sniper in a helicopter circles your area and tries to shoot you. There is a disaster called Cats and Dogs, where it literally rains cats and dogs. I don't know, kinda looks like Peak to me. Now, I wouldn't be making this video if Something Evil was just natural disaster survival with a retro modern coat of paint on it, some silly emotes, and a banger soundtrack, but because I am making a video on it, Something Evil must have some kind of X factor that makes it so enjoyable to play. And oh boy does it. You see, in natural disaster survival, you have 2 gear options that you can buy. A balloon that has a 30% chance to just kill you for no reason because fall damage calculations in this game game are about as reliable as Roblox moderation, and an apple that acts as a heal. These are fine, but they don't really add anything to the game other than the ability to jump high and heal a small amount of health. But Something Evil has a myriad of different gear that add so much more than just a high jump and a health pack. They have your typical support items, sure, like an extinguisher for when you get lit on fire, a flotation device for when you get knocked into water, which gives you the chance to recover, and a few different coils that give you speed, jump height, regen, or all three. But Something Evil really sets itself apart from the competition by including not just PvE support gear, but also PvP offensive gear. You can buy a water balloon that ragdolls whoever you hit with it, a super ball that sends your victim into the next zip code, Molotov cocktails that you can throw to just ruin everything, and the amount of doors PvP gear opens is insane. Oh, and there's also subspace trip mine. There is a lot of subspace trip mine in this game. Like, there is a staggering amount of subspace trip mine. There is a whole disaster that is just subspace trip mine. There is too much subspace trip mine. Please help me. This already makes Something Evil more dynamic than natural disaster survival, but it gets better because the disasters themselves can be used as a weapon against your opponents. Floods are brutal because without the flotation device, you can just get ragdolled off the map and fall into the water where you will inevitably drown. This one disaster where a crusher thing chases down the players is pure evil because if you have something like the water balloon, you can literally trip someone running away in which they'll be crushed. In fact, in the most recent update, the developers actually added vehicular manslaughter to the game, which just adds so much, you know? But disasters can also come in the form of special rounds like Spleef or Minesweeper, or even combo together to create whatever the hell is happening here. We got orbital strikes, we got more orbital strikes, and we got literal stars slamming into the earth. What a time to be alive. Now, Something Evil is very clearly using old Roblox as an inspiration for its overall art style. This has no doubt become a much more common thing for modern developers to do. Old Roblox, despite what people say about its overuse, had a lot of character to it. It kind of has this unique, distinctly old internet vibe that people have become really attached to. As the internet in general gets taken over by bots more and more, the fascination with how things used to be has only grown exponentially. A lot of games use old Roblox well, adding to it and changing it up to make it unique to that game specifically, and Something Evil is no different. This game actually does a really good job of looking like its own original work while still heavily borrowing from old Roblox. The maps, despite using studs and very simple architecture, have a lot of personality and charm to them. They're densely packed, full of hiding spots, Easter eggs, and enough verticality to make them genuinely engaging. And because this game isn't using some kind of weird script to detect fall damage prematurely like natural disaster survival does, the general gameplay loop feels a lot more consistent. But it wouldn't be a Bedsheet Ghost video if I didn't talk about the music, because the music of this game also adds to its own unique identity. The composer Sorakai went way too hard with this game's soundtrack if you ask me, creating these epic, flowing tracks that feel as frantic as the disasters themselves. But like, seriously, you look at the gameplay of this game and see how inherently unserious it is. Meanwhile, the backing tracks are all like... It's just really, really great stuff. But now we gotta talk about the elephant in the room. Something that I've been wanting to talk about for a long time, and now seems like the best time to do it. This game is very silly. Like, we're talking DEFCON 5 levels of silly that would have Regretivator running for the hills. But it's difficult to pin down exactly what makes a Roblox game silly. Is it the character designs? Is it the gameplay itself? Is it the art direction as a whole? Or is it really just the use of this face? Well, personally, I think it's a mix of all of these things. Old Roblox has recently started to be interpreted as a very silly aesthetic. In my opinion, this fits really well with how Roblox looked back then. I honestly don't even think it was inherently silly, but rather inherently innocent. And I think innocence has kind of been replaced by the term silly, which is interesting. Are games like Regretivator, Fighting, Something Evil, and Forsaken silly, or are they innocent? Honest. It's a really tough call. We as Roblox players are so used to developers cutting as many corners as possible, cheating us at every turn, over monetizing to the point of near unplayability, or even being infected by bots in which they do nothing about to make their game seem like it's much bigger than it actually is. The problem boils down to the fact that, unfortunately, these methods of making Roblox games successful are rewarded by Roblox themselves to please their shareholders. This causes games like the ones I just mentioned to be rejected by the site's discoverability algorithm. But I think Something Evil, and honestly Forsaken too, are shining examples of how you can have it both ways. There are honest and acceptable ways to make a Roblox game infinitely replayable without the need of slot machines or gacha systems or other nefarious engagement optimization techniques. This game is both fun and honest, and I think that's what Roblox needs right now more than ever. We are on the precipice of games like Something Evil becoming mainstream. This might be a little bit off topic, but I highly suggest you watch this video from Creekcraft just to understand the sheer scale of the Roblox botting crisis. Like I said, I know that's kind of off topic, but it does put into perspective just how desperate some developers are to not leave the front page. But despite their best efforts, I would much rather play a game like Something Evil Will Happen than any sloppy gacha game on the front page. And you can take that to the bank. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.